Well, joining me now to talk more about the talks between Japan and Russia is Yuki Tatsumi, Senior Associate of the Stimson Center's East Asia Program. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So here we have two countries, Russia and Japan, not the closest of allies. They haven't signed a treaty after World War II. There's still a territorial dispute that divides them. So what's behind this new friendship?
Well, I think from a Japanese perspective, there's a standing issue of territorial issues, which we may talk about a little bit later. But Japan does have an incentive in the improving its relationship, at least at the political level, with Russia. It has currently diplomatic tensions with other neighbors in East Asia, China and South Korea mainly. And if it can make some diplomatic breakaway and improvement with its relation with Russia, it is like one positive relationship that it has in the region, and it works in Japan's favor. And from a Russian's perspective, which I'm not entirely confident of answering, but I suspect Russia does have interest in the deepening its economic relationship with Japan. It has been an energy exporter, but with the U.S. Shale gas development and so forth, it is looking for new markets. And Japan, try to go out of the fossil fuel, is very attractive energy market for Russia.
Right. You talk of some kind of breakthrough. What exactly will Japan be looking for? Would it be looking for some kind of a treaty?
Ultimately, Japan does look for resolution in the territorial disputes with Russia. And only after that dispute is resolved, Japan is seriously able to consider the peace treaty with Russia. But if it can get there under this prime minister, it will be a significant diplomatic accomplishment for Mr. Abe.
Okay, let me ask you about one other development which could be driving these talks, and that is American plans to install a missile defense radar system in Japan. Russia must be concerned about this.
Well, Russia is concerned about it. In fact, I think it was at these meetings at the Foreign and Defense Ministers meeting, and also bilateral defense ministerial talks that the Russian defense minister and foreign ministers has respectively raised this issue as this issue of concern. However, Japan is a very close U.S. ally and also a close partner in the missile defense in this region. So I think this will be a continuing talking agenda points for both countries for some time to come.
Interesting point, because the Russian Foreign Minister, Sergei Lavrov, talked about upgrading defense ties between Russia and Japan. What does that mean?
Well, I think that means is that, for example, Russian defense minister visited Japan for the first time in this past 10 years. So there really is very little, even dialogue level, exchange between Japan and Russia. So, for example, I think Japan and Russia had agreed in principle of having a more regular meeting between the defense minister of the two countries. They have agreed on the more working level, military-to-military discussions, and then also because the maritime security. So we mentioned, well, I think. Counter piracy and terrorism was a big on the agenda, but then I think a search and rescue has been a long time a concern for both navies, for Russian and Japanese, and then I think deepening that relationship as I guess a stepping stone for cooperation in other areas. I think those are the specific that the two governments can immediately work on.
Okay, the territorial dispute is focused on a group of islands, which Japan calls the Northern Territories. Russia calls it the Kurils.
Yes.
Not on the agenda this time. Do you expect it to be on the agenda in future talks?
Not on the this current foreign and defense, what we call 2+2 format. I think it suits better in the foreign ministerial discussion, because it is essentially about the sovereignty issues. Belongs a little bit better in the foreign ministry to foreign ministry diplomatic talks. However, the two positions on this issue between Russia and Japan is still quite a bit apart. So I think I don't expect to see that serious breakthrough on that issue for some time to come still.
Okay, Yuki Tatsumi, thanks for joining us.